Okay, it's about 9:45 a.m. West Coast time on Friday, April 25th. A Wisconsin judge, Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan, was arrested by the FBI. See, it happened either this morning or yesterday. She was arrested by the FBI and she has been charged with obstruction of an arrest of an undocumented immigrant who was appearing in her courtroom. She appears to be a 60-year-old white woman who has been a judge for several years in Wisconsin. And the FBI arrested her for allegedly interfering with and obstructing an immigration arrest operation. This is the first known instance of the Justice Department pursuing a criminal case against a local official in this kind of context. Weirdly, FBI Director Kash Patel announced the arrest earlier today in a post on Twitter, and then he deleted it moments afterwards. The FBI declined to comment on why Kash Patel deleted his post announcing Hannah Dugan's arrest. Patel accused Judge Dugan of intentionally misdirecting federal agents who arrived at the courthouse to detain an immigrant who was set to appear before her in an unrelated proceeding. Patel wrote, "Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody ever since, but the judge's obstruction created an increased danger to the public." So what exactly happened? She was in court this morning or yesterday, whenever this happened. When she was arrested in court. She was arrested inside her courtroom. This incident allegedly took place last Friday. ICE agents arrived in her courtroom last Friday during a pretrial hearing for Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a 30-year-old Mexican national who is facing misdemeanor battery charges in Wisconsin. Dugan asked the agents to leave her courtroom and speak with the circuit court's chief judge, which is basically like her supervisor. Chief judge runs the courthouse. And which that doesn't seem unreasonable to me at all. If you have ICE agents showing up in your courtroom to arrest someone who is appearing in your courtroom, it's not at all unreasonable to say, I think you guys need to go check in with the chief judge. And, because any trial court judge is probably going to be looking for some guidance under these circumstances. And by the time the agents returned to her courtroom, Mr. Flores had left. Kash Patel wrote, "We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse. Mr. Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest." I think they're going to have an extremely difficult time proving that level of intent. But I almost think the particulars of the criminal case are of lesser importance than the fact that the FBI arrested a state county court judge in her courtroom. Multiple other judges in this courthouse confirmed that that had happened. And she put out a statement through her attorney, Craig Mastantuano. Ms. Dugan wholeheartedly regrets and protests her arrest. It was not made in the interest of public safety, and we ask that the court allow her released. And U.S. Magistrate Judge Stephen C. Dries, D-R-I-E-S, released Judge Dugan from custody to await future court proceedings, basically released her on her own recognizance. I mean, it's a separation of powers violation. It's the executive messing with the judicial. It is overt authoritarian threat and intimidation tactics. given the facts that have been presented in this article that I'm reading from the Washington Post and other articles that I've seen on this, they don't have the evidence to prove intent. That she intentionally misdirected those officers to a different courtroom or a different department in order to facilitate the escape of Mr. Flores Ruiz from them arresting him. So he was appearing in her courtroom on a pretrial matter. The way these things work in county courts, a judge such as this will schedule 20 or 30 cases at 9:30 in the morning for pretrial proceedings, and then they just work their way down the list. And you just hang out until the judge calls your case. And once, so did the ICE agents or the FBI agents or whoever, the ICE agents who showed up in her courtroom last Friday, did they tell her that they were there to arrest this guy? Did they produce a warrant? Any documentation? Did they provide her with any authority? Did they ID themselves? Did they show her their IDs? Did she confirm their identities? Because a lot of this stuff has been happening with people in plain clothes with no badges and no IDs and no windbreakers with the initials of their agency on the back. So I would want to know what they did to prove to the judge that they were who they say they were. But it's like once the judge calls your case and you're done and she finishes with your case, then you're free to go. Did these guys produce any documentation that would have pushed this judge to instruct Mr. Flores to not leave her courtroom until those guys came back? Did the ICE agents ask her to do that? There are all kinds of details here that are going to have to be fleshed out. And so it's like when you see a tweet like this or any statement from this government, this Supreme Court doesn't even trust this government. I mean, last week they were like, no, we're not going to make any more flights out of Texas to El Salvador. And the Supreme Court issued an emergency order at 1:30 in the morning, Saturday morning, because they don't believe the statements of this administration. And so anytime you see a case like this with some bullshit statement from Kash Patel or anybody else at the DOJ or representing this administration, wait a couple days and more facts will come out. But this is incredibly disturbing. They're arresting judges now in their courtrooms.